What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant back again. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued to know what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, man, I am a Chicago Sky diehard fan. Have been as long as the team has been in existence. Sat through the Ella Della Donne. I can't never say her name right, but I sat through the double L era. Uh, Enjoy her, while she was with our team. Then we were graced with the legend Candace Parker, who co-led our team to a championship along with the phenomenal, outstanding shooting guard Kalia Copper, formerly of the Chicago Sky, now with the Phoenix Mercury. And now we are in the Angel Reese era. And the Angel Reese era was coincided with the coaching of Teresa Witherspoon, affectionately known as Coach Teaspoon. Now, for all of y'all that don't know about Teresa Witherspoon, she was a dog back in her day when she was a player, a two-time Defensive Player of the Year. I don't believe she ever won a championship, but it is regarded as a legend just because of her play. And respectfully, I've always had a high level of respect for Teaspoon as well, as I've been watching the WNBA since its inception. But there was some concerns, and I've expressed a few of these when I was covering Chicago Sky events, games, whatever was going on with my team while we were still in the season. And one of my primary concerns was how Coach Teaspoon was handling the egos and personalities of these high profile young ladies. Let's call it what it is. These are professional athletes. They have a certain bravado, they have a certain pride, all that kind of stuff, and it takes a very strong-willed um, and dare I say wise coach in order to manage these personalities. And this is why we hold so many great coaches of old, to a high standard, because not only were these coaches able to implement masterful strategies that, won games and championships, but they were also able to manage personalities on a day-to-day basis. The number one guy I can think of for me personally is Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson had to manage the larger than life ego of Michael Jordan and even Scottie Pippen, who was a prideful man himself. And then, after doing all of that, handling those two, he went over to coach the very prideful, we all know of Kobe Bryant, and of course Shaquille O'Neal, another larger than life personality. So when it comes to being a coach, it's not for the faint of heart, it's not for the weak. And I just think that Coach Teaspoon was a little bit above her head in this regard, okay? And I'm not knocking her. I'm not saying that she's not capable, or she won't land another coaching job. I'm positive she will. I just think as a first-time head coach, I believe this was her first head coaching job. This was also her first year with us. I think she bit off a little bit more than she could chew. Now I know that Coach Teaspoon was with the New Orleans Pelicans of the NBA. She had been with that coaching staff for some time. And I really only knew this because I'm a big Zion Williamson fan. And a year or two ago, when Zion was going through all of the stuff that he was going through, he made a mention of Coach Teaspoon, being one person that he could confide in. And so that's when I really, outside of her playing days, that's when I learned that Coach Teaspoon was in the coaching realm. But even with that NBA experience, again, when you're the head coach, the buck stops with you, and again, you're gonna have more on your plate than you could probably handle. Um, so, with that being said, the Chicago Sky suddenly and abruptly fired Coach Teaspoon, I believe, today, and have began the search for the next head coach for the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky this year were a bit of a roller coaster. For me personally, I believe that we had a lot of personnel issues. A lot of moves were made that I did not agree with, albeit some of these moves were requested by the players themselves. The number one move that I totally disagree with was the trading of Kalia Copper. Now, don't get it twisted. I kind of understand, because they wanted to kind of clear the slate for Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. They didn't want those two to come in, into the WNBA and be intimidated. And they definitely would have been if playing with a Finals MVP and a prolific talent like Kalia Copper. I don't believe that Angel Reese would have been able to be the Angel Reese that we know and see today to a degree because Kalia Copper would have been the head dog on that team. But I did not agree with us getting rid of Kalia Copper. Kalia has been a legend for the Chicago Sky. Again, she co-led the Sky to a championship just 3 years ago in 2021. And, is one of the top scorers in the league right now as a member of the Phoenix Mercury. But we traded her away. That was the one move I did not like. And then along the way, we lost another one of my favorite players in Marina Mabry, as Marina herself went to request a trade from the Chicago Sky due to all the, I guess you could say the roller coaster ride, what that was ensuing behind the scenes. Um, so Marina Mabry was traded to the Connecticut Sun, and she is thriving right now. She is doing her thing. Uh, and she went toe to toe with the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark just the other day in that playoff series. So she's playing very impressive. Set a WNBA record too for points off the bench with 27 in a WNBA playoff game. So she's moved on to greener pastures, and I see why she requested a trade. Again, I love Coach Witherspoon, but I was just noticing some leaks in the boat, some kinks in her armor, if you will, as it did not seem like she was very adept at, or I should say, she wasn't very creative with the offense. The offense would get heavily stagnant at times. And we didn't have the personnel to really draw up something exotic enough. If that's the right word, we couldn't get creative because of our personnel. And I believe that Marina Mabry, who is a stout basketball player in her own right, she's like a baller's baller. I believe that she was able to sense that, and she felt that and seen that in real time. When Teaspoon was hired on, another thing that we were very bad at was our 3-point shooting. And it became very, very obvious once Marina was traded to the Connecticut Sun. We were last in 3-point attempts with 14 a game, which is, in today's era, seems like unfathomable, considering in the NBA, those fools averaging about 30 to 43s a game. And I can't even tell you how many they're averaging. They got to be about 20, 25 in the WNBA. So we were far and away the lowest in that realm. And as well, hold on, there was another very interesting stat I had pulled up. Uh, no, we were the second. Oh, we were the second. We were the number one in the fewest 3-point attempts, and we were the second worst offense in the league as far as our rating goes. It was a 97.0, but that was the second worst in the league. I got to find out who was worse than us, because watching everything play out, the Chicago Sky would get very stagnant at times. Besides all of that, Angel Reese, I think that she really took the Coach Teaspoon. And I just think that Teaspoon was more of a player's coach, if you will. She it seems to me that she was able to manage personalities fairly well outside of Marina Mabry, maybe, but Kennedy Carter has some issues, going on. Some, if I can say this, attitude issues going on. But it seems like Teaspoon was able to reel her in a bit. Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, coming into the WNBA, needed a little bit of a some guidance and some I guess you could say mentorship there. Angel Reese has taken to her platform, social media platforms, and said that Coach Teaspoon was a hero to her, and she's super sad to see her go. So we'll see what happens from that point on. As now the Chicago Sky are on the hunt for their third coach and 3 years, well, four coach. I'm gonna say this: we've had three coaches since we won the championship in 2021. So every year since we won the championship, we've had a different coach, including Teaspoon, and so we'll be on our fourth coach after being 4 years removed from a championship. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the Chicago Sky went 13 and 27 this year. After, for the most part, for the first half of the season, and the beginning of the second half of the season, after lingering and having the eighth seed in the WNBA playoffs for that long. We fell out of contention at the last minute there to the Atlanta Dream. Um, and this was the first time the Chicago Sky have missed the playoffs in 6 years. So it's been a bit of a nice streak there of making the playoffs, at least showing our faces in the postseason. But this is the first year we haven't made it to the postseason in the last 6 years. So just another, a negative working up against Teaspoon. As much as I love her, I have to acknowledge that. I think she was in over her head. And I don't get why Chicago basketball teams, we continuously hire these defensive minded coaches, and then we get mad when our offense is stagnant. We've seen the same thing happen with Coach Thibodeau with the Chicago Bulls. Coach Thibodeau was the defensive coach for the 2008 championship Boston Celtics, renowned as one of the better legendary teams in NBA history. That defense was elite. That was one of the bread and butters of that team. Coach Thibodeau comes over to the Bulls, and we were a pretty good defensive team in his tenure with us as well. But our offense would get incredibly stagnant, just like the Chicago Skies does. So I don't understand why the ownership and the powers that be of my Chicago organization teams continue to hire these defensive-minded coaches, and then they're shocked when our offenses are putrid. But Teaspoon follows in that trend, and I'll be looking into. I just seen an article pop up in my notifications as far as the Chicago Sky bringing up. I think the 5 candidates that they had on paper to be the next head coach for the Chicago Sky. So we will see. We will see. But yeah, man, very somber news. Coach Teaspoon will no longer be the head coach of my Chicago Sky. I hope she lands on her feet with her next opportunity, because she's for sure going to get one. And I just hope that things work out for her a little differently. I hope she's able to learn from this lesson. And like I say, land on her feet and continue on her legendary career as not a player now, but just being in the basketball community. I hope that she continues on building on her legacy. But that's all I got for y'all on this one. Please like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily. Go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. I'm always intrigued to hear what y'all got to say about these topics. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.